Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another week of the Copilot Compass. As always, I have the pleasure of being joined by my esteemed colleague, fellow Copilot enthusiast, and resident smart guy, Logan.
Thanks, Grant. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Logan, tell the folks at home a little bit more about what they can expect in this week's episode.
Yeah, so as always, we're gonna get started with our question of the week, and then we'll get into our topic, which is Copilot for marketing. So yeah, we're gonna go over how you can utilize Copilot best for your marketing team. Should be interesting. And make sure you stay tuned to the end for a sneak preview of what we have coming out next, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.
Awesome. And yeah, we'll switch gears a little bit this week and jump right into the question of the week. So, Logan, I'll turn it over to you. What's our question of the week this week?
Yeah, so this week our question is, and remember, you could submit those questions by either leaving a comment on this video or by emailing the email address in the description. But yeah, this week our question is, what skills will be most valuable in a Copilot enhanced business environment?
Okay, skills for I'd say I'm interpreting this as more like I'm an employee. What's within a business? What skills do I need to be successful in a Copilot enhanced environment? I'd say, um, like change receptive, being open to change, not being resistant to it. I think understanding that a lot of these AI tools, they are going to, truly change the way that we work. And, I think Satya said it at Inspire last year. It's that this is, one of the first tools that Microsoft has deployed that really does require core and true change management. We're going to change the way that we operate. It's not just learning to do the same things, but with a new tool, but it's learning to do things differently and in a new way. So, I think some people tend to they're like scared of it, afraid it's replacing them type of thing, and so they become very resistant and like denying the fact that these types of tools are coming to us. But, just being open and receptive to the idea that this is a new reality for us, that these tools are going to enable some of us to do our jobs even better, and that those that adapt to it the best are going to be really put in, a position of career growth, not limitations through these AI tools. But yeah, I don't know, Logan, what do you think? What skills come to mind to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big things is, knowing what tasks are good for, to rely on Copilot for, and what you should probably not rely on Copilot for, but even more so,
Yeah.
knowing when to trust Copilot and knowing when not to. And it's just important to make sure that you're, double checking things, especially if it's anything, super important. You want to be able to, check multiple sources, and Copilot might be a good place to start. But it's definitely a skill knowing, when I should be able to, oh no, this is like something small. I can just ask Copilot and hey, it's probably going to be fine if the answer is not 100% correct.
Right, right.
And other times, no, this needs to be 100% correct. I'm also going to go do my own research. So yeah, I think that's just an important thing to keep in mind.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, knowing when to trust and how to validate is really important.
Yeah.
Shoot, I thought I had a good answer, but I like yours actually a bit more. All right. Well, good question of the week. We've had a few good ones in a row here. Let's take a brief pause, then we'll shift gears and talk a little bit about Copilot for marketing.
Let's do it.
Copilot can play a lot of different roles in your marketing team. And since we don't have a half day for this, we typically try to keep these certainly, under 45 minutes per episode. We're not going to cover the entire breadth of possibilities with your marketing team in Copilot. But a few ideas that kind of come to mind, first one is email personalization, especially at scale. You can use Copilot and connect it with your CRM data. You can also use it to summarize long email threads or long responses that you're getting back from a customer or partner. So, there's kind of some simple and easy to use cases there that can really help with those, email campaigns. Visuals too, like enhancing your flyers, your PowerPoint decks, any of those types of things with some cool and creative visuals. The image creator functionalities of all of the AI tools just continue to get better and better. So you can certainly do some fun stuff there. Another one, summarizing meetings that you have with customers or partners, really take away some of that time you maybe used to commit to summarizing a meeting with a customer or partner and then sending a follow-up based around, that discussion. You can automate's not the right word, but you can really use the, Copilot for a lot of stuff there. as you can with really any function. Another one that comes to mind too is just analyzing data that you have, taking a look at some of your campaigns, whether you have that info in a simple Excel spreadsheet or you've got it in a Power BI dashboard. You can use Copilot either of those places to help you kind of break down, those campaigns and offer suggestions for where you can do a little better. Or even if you're using, multiple data sets for those types of analytics, you could certainly use that analyzer agent for that. So another one is localization. We're not going to cover that one today. It's a great demo, but we did that a few months, or maybe, I don't know, maybe a month ago in our co-sell and partner, ideas as far as where Copilot can contribute. But, taking a material that you're using in your North America distribution and then localizing it for, let's say, Eastern Europe. So it can give you some ideas around it. It can even take a first stab at it for you for updating and localizing that material so it resonates better with a local audience. And we do have two demos for you today, and I should really say it's kind of two and a half. So in the first demo, we're going to talk about the project manager agent in Planner. So um, we like to build our go-to-market, our GTM plans. We'll build those out in Planner. Um, and there is a project manager agent that you can add to your project teams there. So we'll show you how that agent can help you with those go-to-market plans. And then kind of separate from that, we're going to show you also how you can use the chat functionality of Copilot to, generate and help you brainstorm ideas for your go-to-market planning. So that's why I say that one's kind of one and a half demos, but the second demo that we have for you today, a good use case of Copilot for your marketing teams is like taking, you know, some like an overview that's in one format and changing it to another. So as an example, maybe you have a like a go-to-market campaign. You want to build an executive summary of that campaign. So you've got the Word document overview. Now you want to turn it into a PowerPoint deck to go through with your execs. You can do that. We're going to do the exact opposite today. So we're going to cover. We've got like a PowerPoint deck that's some material we've given in, let's say, a webinar for the sake of the demo. And now we're going to turn that webinar into a blog post. So it's going to take a PowerPoint deck and then translate that into a new format, which is in the form of a blog. So we'll demo that for you as well. With that, lot to cover. Let's jump right into our first demo. Microsoft 365 Copilot has a lot of really good use cases for your marketing team. And just with the format of this podcast, we're not going to cover all of those today. So want to quickly cover a few that we're not going to demo. First one is email personalization at scale. With Graph Connectors, Copilot can plug right into your CRM systems and, help with those personalized email campaigns that are ever so important. I think, nobody's ever sold a service with something that had a placeholder in there for the person's name or the company or title. So, Copilot does a really good job there. It can also help with the normal things that it can with any department, like summarizing long email threads or long messages. Another really cool use case is creating cool visuals. You can use prompting to create images, graphics, things of that nature. We even used Copilot to help us come up with the logo for this, for the Copilot Compass, and it's gotten nothing but better since then. So really cool thing that you can do there to create visuals for those campaigns. Another one, which, does apply to a lot of different roles there, but is, summarizing meetings that you have. And that could be your marketing team meeting to discuss go-to-market strategy, or it could be, a meeting with a co-sell partner. And there's a variety of action items that now you don't have to spend an hour organizing and sorting your handwritten notes into something that's, partner friendly or partner facing. You can do that in the matter of 30 seconds with Copilot. So a good use case there. Another one is analyzing your marketing data. You run these campaigns, you get lots of info on those campaigns, and whether you've got that data in a simple Excel spreadsheet or it's in a Power BI dashboard, there's some cool use cases with Copilot there to help you, analyze the data, offer suggestions and potential improvements, or even, you can use the analyst agent for multiple data sets to kind of give you some good insights into the data that you do have. One other one, we demoed in an episode a few weeks back when we talked about co-sell partners and scenarios for Copilot there is localization of material. So you've got a really good flyer that you've been using, at events in North America. Now you're going to want to create a similar version of that flyer for a series of events you're doing in, let's say, Eastern Europe. Maybe you don't have a strong marketing team over there, so you can use Copilot to give you suggestions of like whether it's, hey, build me a checklist of things that I need to localize for this particular flyer, or have it give you suggestions that you can choose to incorporate or not, or just go all the way, have it take the first stab at localizing the content that you have. So again, those are some really good ones, really, really high impact use cases, but we just simply don't have the time to demo those today. If you do want to see us, take a deeper dive into any particular one of those, please leave us a comment or reach out to us, and we will, be happy to cover that in a future episode, or even with you directly if you'd like. So we are going to have two demos today, and I really should say we have kind of two and a half demos. So our first demo, we're going to kind of, do the two birds, one stone type of thing here. So we're going to first cover the project planner agent and its utilization within, or sorry, misspoke, project manager agent in Planner. So we're going to create a go-to-market plan in Planner. That's what we do for all of our go-to-market campaigns. And we're going to add the project manager agent and have us help us out with our go-to-market planning. So we'll show that. We're also in that same demo going to show you how you can use Copilot Chat to help you with, with those go-to-market strategies and kind of be another voice in the room, so to speak, with those planning events. So that's our first demo. Second demo today, we're going to cover turning a PowerPoint deck into a Word document. So this can have a lot of impact in your marketing teams, but maybe you have like a long go-to-market plan that was well documented out in a Word document, but you're going to go meet with some C-level executives to go over that plan. You don't want to just pull open a Word document and scroll through 50 pages. But instead you want to create like an executive summary, executive overview deck. You could certainly use Copilot to give you a first starting place for that. We're going to do the exact opposite in this demo. So we're going to take a PowerPoint deck that we did for in this mock scenario. We were delivering a webinar about the impact of AI in the oil and gas manufacturing industry. And we're going to take the presentation and turn it into a blog post. So we put all that gray matter and thought process into that webinar. We're going to get some more mileage out of that, thought, and put that into a blog with Copilot. So two good demos. Both are going to be fairly lengthy, so let's jump right into it. All right, so I'm right here in Planner. We've started throwing together a go-to-market plan, and you can see we're very much at the early stages here. All we have is do some market research and create a flyer. So now maybe I'm busy. I've got other things I need to be working on. And so I'm going to basically outsource this conduct competitor research to our project manager agent. So now I did have to add project manager agent into this project plan when I stood this up, but I can see that its task is currently assigned to me. I'm going to add in the project manager agent right here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And its task, it's going to read what the task at hand is. It's conduct competitor research. In this case, it just sees the title of what, kind of what our offer is going to be. But if I had more detail in here, that might help it. Or if I had maybe referenced in some of like, kickoff decks or things like that we already have in place, it can do a little bit more of a targeted job. But I've added the agent to that particular task, and now I'm looking through. I've got a flyer for this, so maybe I want to think like, okay, that flyer is going to be good. It's going to be really helpful for that conference we're going to next month, but I want to know what other material I should use. So just to use Copilot as a brainstorming agent for us, I'm going to go ahead and navigate to the chat experience of Copilot. And I'm just going to ask it, I'm going to say I am, what I'll even do is we'll do one better. I'm going to actually reference in a flyer that we have. So I'm going to add in this flyer for one of our workshop related offers. And I might ask, what other suggestions do you have for other marketing materials to help bring this service to market for, we'll say, Fortune 500 companies. We're being a little bit more specific, giving a little bit more context to the target audience. So now it's suggesting executive briefing deck, some case studies, an infographic, short explainer video, thought leadership blogs, email campaigns, you name it. So let's pick one here, Logan. Why don't you pick one that we're going to add?
Yeah, let's do the short explainer video.
Okay, great. So we'll go back in here. I'm going to add a new task, short explainer video. Click enter. Of course, it's going to make this a subtask because the above task is a subtask. I'm going to promote it. Great. And then I can just go back to chat here. Let's see what else it's, maybe I even want to take this further. So help me come up with 3 to 5 steps to complete the short explainer video. So I'm looking for things like script, things like that. Create a script, draft it. Okay, script and storyboard, great. Record, gather visuals. Okay. So I'm just going to keep it simple. We'll create a new task, script and storyboard. Of course, make this a subtask of the above. Let's say we'll just do create video and publish, keeping the framework of the first one of the flyer. Okay, great. So now I've used Copilot chat to help me decide on some other materials that we might need for our go-to-market campaign here for this new offering. Now I think we've given our project manager agent enough time here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to navigate quickly over to the board and take a look at what it's come up with here. So I've clicked in some detail on what I've assigned to the project manager agent here, and we can see it's doing its thinking here. It is doing some deep research. There might be some tasks that are very quick and easy that it won't certainly take it, any real investment of time. You also will get notified of, once it's completed in like your team's experience. So if you're working through, a variety of other things, you leave Planner for a period of time because you're not going to sit and wait for it to produce its result, then, you will get some notifications there in Teams. But you can think of this a lot like in this particular use case, it's kind of like using the researcher agent. It's conducting some market research, but it can also help come up with plans, come up with strategies. We love this particular researcher example. So what we'll do is we'll give it a moment for it to do its thing. It takes typically, in our experience, just a couple of minutes, but we will flash forward a minute here and let project manager do its thing. All right. So of course, about 30 seconds after we cut, it was done. So it didn't take long at all. So you can see it's got a latest status for you, and then it's got its results. So I can see here an executive summary, the key competitors and offerings. We can see who's involved in the space. What are some of the core features, Copilot's core features, pricing, all these types of things. So it's done its research for us. It saved me, I don't know, 4 hours to a week, depending on how deep you want to go. So really, really great use case for us here. And really has helped support us, allowed us to focus on some of the more creative things that are going to require our inputs in our go-to-market campaign. All right, so to set the stage for our second demo, we have just completed a webinar on the impact of generative AI for the oil and gas manufacturing industry. And we spent a lot of time on it, a lot of gray matter, a lot of thought went into that. And so now we are thinking that we can get a little bit more use out of it by also having a blog posting for our website that we're going to do based around that presentation. So what we'll do is we're going to use Copilot to help us get our first draft in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to I'm in here in Word. I've got Copilot opened up right here at the top. It wants me to describe what I want to write. So I'm going to say, create a blog post for our website based on, and then I'm going to do the / and then select down here that webinar presentation, and away we go. I could be more specific here. A really good way to doing this would be to reference other blogs that you've done so it can see the formatting. You want to be clear to it, telling it not pull information out of those other blogs, especially if they're unrelated, but more like, hey, use this for reference for formatting, stuff like that. But in this case, this was quick and easy. It's put something together for me. Maybe I want to say, make it more formal. Maybe it just felt a little bit too casual for me there. So it's going to give me a little bit different of a layout here. It looks like it's creating some nice headings for me as well. And we're just looking at just about 2 pages now. So maybe I want to, let's say, rewrite it so it's written by a pirate. Maybe that's kind of the theme that we have for our website. Everything sounds like a pirate wrote our blog. So another cool use case too, maybe you want the formal version on your website. You're going to do something like this on your Instagram account, whatever the case may be. But I've taken a few different options here. We've created a blog in the matter of 30 seconds based on a long PowerPoint deck. And now we can just kind of revise it, twist it, make it our own and publish. So hopefully this one will help save your marketing team some time. In today's Journey to the Copilot Compass, we talked about M365 Copilot use cases for your marketing team. Touched on a couple of high impact use cases there. First one is that project manager agent to support your go-to-market campaigns and strategies, as well as using Copilot to support those same efforts. And then our second demo, we talked about turning a presentation from a webinar and creating a blog posting out of that simply and easily using Copilot and Word. So hopefully you found some cool use cases to help save your marketers some time.
Yeah, I really like that planner use case. It's cool to, have all your ideas in one place and or have people work on some things and then just have people take care of the more monotonous tasks. So very
Yep.
cool stuff. So if you enjoyed, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And remember, we have our Q&A sessions every episode, so give us those questions. And new episodes come out weekly on Tuesdays.
Yeah, next week we are going to do one that Logan and I are super excited about. So if you haven't seen, Copilot is coming to Designer in PowerPoint. So one of the things that was always, I don't know if frustration's the right word, but if you're using Copilot and PowerPoint to create presentations, it was always like it picked its kind of format, and then you had to, you could change the design, you could try to use your organization's own slide master if you wanted, but it would take some effort there for sure because if you didn't have a slide master template that was well aligned to the way Copilot was producing them, then it can struggle with implementing that easily. But now you can sort of choose your design in advance and have Copilot build off of that. So you could just use your slide master and have it build the deck, around that same formatting with the same headers, footers, font schemes, you name it. So we're very excited about that. So we'll talk to you guys a little bit next week about the changes that Copilot has brought to PowerPoint and then cover specifically the Copilot for Designer. So hopefully you'll join us next week for that one. I know we're really excited about it.